Does Philip Rivers deserve to be in the Hall of Fame? This is a good question to ask because a little bit years ago we had the same situation with Eli Manning. And I feel like this one is an easier question to answer. Philip Rivers definitely belongs in the Hall of Fame. But you might be wondering, but Patriot, this man has never been to a Super Bowl. Not once. At least with Eli, he went to two. He didn't even need to win both. As long as he won one, he would be considered a Hall of Famer. But here's the thing: is that what we're going off? Is that what we're going off nowadays? You have to win a Super Bowl to be a Hall of Famer. By that logic, Dan Marino doesn't deserve to be in the Hall of Fame, right? He doesn't deserve to be in the Hall of Fame. He never won a Super Bowl, right? Right. Or what about Randy Moss? He never won a Super Bowl. He doesn't deserve to be in the Hall of Fame. Wait, maybe wonder. But those two went to a Super Bowl. Moss with New England back when they had back when they went perfectly and won 16-0, and Dan Marino back when he went to Super Bowl but lost. Yes, you are correct. But look like this: Philip Rivers is fifth in passing yards and passing touchdowns. Guess who he was behind to? Tom Brady, Drew Brees, Brett Favre, and Peyton Manning. Those four guys were ahead of him in pretty much every single statistical stat. And the problem with Philip Rivers isn't, well, it isn't that he's a bad quarterback, it's the situation he put himself into. Let me demonstrate what I mean by that. The Chargers aren't a good organization, and hopefully Justin Herbert and Dan Stanley can finally change that. Change the narrative of the Chargers that they aren't a bad franchise with Dan Spanos. But they were a bad franchise. They were a completely bad franchise with bad records, with bad coaching, not good players. And yes, they did have good and great players like Thompson, and yes, Rivers, of course, and Keenan Allen, and right now Justin Herbert, and classic Joey Bosa. But that's not the point. But the point is, this team betrayed their city. After all the bullshit they put their team through, they decided to put the nail in the wood and pin them to the cross like they were Jesus, and for them to throw stones at their body when they went to the playoffs. And beat the Ravens back when they went 12-4. Remember that? Remember the Chargers beat the Chiefs? A Patrick Mahomes-led Chiefs? I remember that. But this team's not good. This team is not great. But I can't just blame this all on the Chargers, despite all the shit that Dan Spanos and just the organization themselves did. Philip Rivers isn't perfect. Philip Rivers is probably who I would consider myself to be if I was a quarterback. I go based off my emotions. Also, Philip. It's interesting that Philip doesn't swear, which is... He'd be great if he became a head coach in the NFL or college, but he was a trash talker but never swore. He was an emotional person. who threw the ball in places where he probably shouldn't, but he believes that he can make it. But can't. And it's sad, you know? You can clearly tell Philip loves football. And you can clearly tell he does. So seeing him retire 17 years after him being in the NFL, ironically, that's his number. I actually like that, 17 years in the NFL while wearing number 17. It's kind of poetic if you think of it like that. But Phillip Rivers does deserve to be in the Hall of Fame. But Phillip Rivers, to me, is wasted potential. He is the carcass, the wasted carcass of San Diego.